Guys, so I just want to give really quick news regarding the Nintendo Switch 2 in terms of the date or time you can actually do pre-orders and what's been happening about that. It's not good news. So this is an article from the Latin Times from April 4th, 2025. So just about 2 days ago. Nintendo fans blame Trump after Switch 2 delayed in US due to tariffs. Worst president of the United States history. Yeah, so now, so what does that mean, right? What's going on? Why people, at least probably younger people, blaming Donald Trump and his implementation of bunch of tariffs? So unfortunately, US will not be able to pre-order a Nintendo Switch 2 on April 9, like most other people in the world. And it's supposed to come out June 5th, 2025. The reason is because Trump has implemented a bunch of tariffs that will impact the manufacturing of the components that are utilized when building the Nintendo Switch 2. So there are countries such as Vietnam, among others, that had to do with the tariffs that Trump is implementing. What will happen? They had to increase the cost of production on the company that is paying them to manufacture the components of Nintendo Switch 2, which then will have to push the company to increase the cost of the system, meaning increase the price of the system on the consumers, aka the customers who are going to buy the Nintendo Switch 2 so they can still make a profit. So while Trump may not be, oh, I'm not doing tariff, directly on Japan per se, or certain Japanese companies, because the Japanese company use the manufacturer factories in other countries for the components of the products, it will cost him more money. So if he implements so many tariffs that will impact multiple countries, that's impacting multiple corporations, multiple government agencies and departments worldwide. So that will cause aka Americans and other consumers to have to pay more money. In particular, because it's Trump's tariffs, now Nintendo has to reevaluate the cost of the Nintendo Switch 2 for US release. So expect that Americans are gonna have to pay more. So we are gonna have to pay more. We live in the US, unfortunately. That's basically the overall situation regarding Nintendo Switch 2 release date in the US. So Nintendo fans erupted in frustration Friday after the company announced it would delay pre-orders for the highly anticipated Switch 2 console in the US, citing President Donald Trump's tariffs as a reason. I mean, it's pretty accurate, right? It's supposed to come out just a console itself, the Nintendo Switch 2 by itself at $449. Now with the whole situation with tariffs, expected to cost more, and now American citizens and residents are not going to be able to start pre-ordering the Switch 2 on April 9, as the article is explaining here. It's supposed to be done April 9, 2025 for the implementation of pre-orders, right? For Americans also not gonna happen now because all the tariffs that Trump is doing. I just explained that in the beginning of the video. So the article is just talking about that because Trump revealed a new global tariff package that is especially aggressive in countries like Vietnam and Cambodia. What the problem is that a lot of those hardware components of Nintendo Switch 2 are gonna build in those areas by those workers, by those people, people who live there. So it's gonna cost Nintendo more money now to make the console, to be released in the US, so they're gonna have to increase the price to make a profit. More than than just a bare minimum profit. The corporations don't want to just make a side profit. They want to make enormous amount of money as much as possible. And that's where the majority of Nintendo's hardware of Nintendo hardware is being manufactured. After production shift away from China in response to tariffs issued in his first term. Again, people forgot, I guess, everything that happened during Trump's first term. He did the same crap and screw over a bunch of uh, regular people from poor, working class, middle class people, but also corporations. So that's the thing. Vietnam is now subject to 46% tariffs, while Cambodia, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, the name of the country, faces 49%. That's a huge percentage. Like people don't realize how that will impact everything. And people think that, oh, but it's just those two countries, but they forget that a lot of manufacturers done outside of many richer countries because they don't want to pay their workers a bad salary. If Japan did everything in Japan, they would have to pay them a lot more than if they did in Vietnam and other places. It's just a fact. US is the same shit. So with the tariffs going on, it's gonna cost money. It's gonna cost more now for consumers because everything's gonna cost more for Nintendo, like other corporations. So you, as a customer, aka the consumer, will have to make up the difference by paying more for the product. That's how it works. Some people are annoyed about this, but you should be annoyed, since 2016. What happened? Like his first time was horrific. Why didn't you vote more against him? 2024 came around, over 89 million people didn't vote. What were you guys doing? And I can guarantee the 89 million people didn't vote were mostly people who were young. Like you had the opportunity to make a change and you decided not to. Now you're complaining about Trump doing this. I'm not saying that everyone who's complaining didn't vote against Trump and all the Republicans into Congress, not saying that. But a huge chunk decided not to vote at all. And there were a bunch of Gen Zers who voted for Trump and Republicans into Congress. So let's not act like we didn't have a bunch of young people who supported Trump and Republicans in gaining more power. They voted for them. A lot of them did. And over 89 million people who could vote decided not to vote at all. This is part of the consequences. This is not a new thing. Trump has done this in the past. Republicans have done this many times. This is not a new thing. Republicans are never there for the working class people. So this whole issue could have been prevented. So that's just the update I want to give for people living in the US. Don't expect to be able to just easily buy, a Nintendo Switch 2 now. Nintendo had to reevaluate the prices and we'll see how much more expensive it's gonna be. I'm already not thinking of getting Nintendo Switch 2, at least not anytime soon, so it is what it is now. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this. If you agree with the Donald Trump's tariffs on those countries, and Nintendo now had to reevaluate the whole situation of the pricing, so they can still make up more of a profit, so they can reach the profit margins they already be aiming for the year and beyond. And if you guys disagree, let me know why. I could always agree, or just general thoughts on it. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Watch this on TikTok, follow us on TikTok. And that's really it. Have a good day, everyone.